A loaded mixer is stuck. Pretty simple winch out. Only thing about mixers being loaded, we treat those to the same degree as a police department call. They, of course, the longer they sit, the more that the concrete side of it's going to start to harden, and we'll eventually get to a point of no return. So it's very essential that you get there quick. No bull, get it out, but he get on his way, unload, clean out the drum, whatever they have to do. I don't know. I've never ran a mixer. I just know get them out fast as so we just got a call. We are already expedited, but now we're gonna put a little even more pep in the step. It is leaning, and they're scared that it's gonna fall over. So we're gonna get there even faster because we don't want that to happen.
Right here. Feed the Baileys through the wheels. Really about the only spot you can grab without destroying the fender on any mixer. These are the wheel sling Baileys that we were talking about the other day. Perfect for situations like this where you just don't have a lot to grab onto. There's always a wheel. A lot of times you'll see guys, even me, we get a master link and put it between another piece of, either another Bailey's sling or an endless loop, and I'll put it right in the middle. Doing it that way, both slings on, both wheels will see equal tension. You can do things like that, pulling on toe pins on a truck. Instead of having one cable or wire rope on each side, you're distributing the pressure evenly across the board. So I really like these frame chains. Anybody that's been doing this long enough has probably already used them before, but they have a specific hook at the end that has a wider throat. You can fit it on frame rails or bigger ledges that you couldn't get with the traditional hook. They're a little bit shorter, that way if the tip of your hook hits something, it's not going to get tip loaded as well. Perfect for situations like this. The strongest point of any truck is always going to be the frame. So if you can ever get into the frame, you don't have to worry about damaging it or pulling too hard on it. So I've done a few of these, and there's a few different ways you could do it. Given how much space you have, sometimes you could get kind of offset in the front corner of the truck, and we could do what we call a strong arm, which is where we wrap the frame on the downside of the truck, throw an end loop over the top of the drum, and we tie off to the top side of the frame using a chain or something, and you could run the end loop through a master link, and it'll pull the truck up and towards you. We call it the strong arm. But that way, I've picked up the entire mixer and set it on the road a few times. I've also done it, this way where you're doing a high and low grab just to slide it over. There's like Mike would say, there's 100 ways to skin a cat, but make sure it's dead first. Then every situation's different. I'm doing here is using the same thing I did on the driver's side with the rim slings, using that grommet sling, what we call a container sling, as an equalizer, put same amount of tension on both Baileys. The only thing I really messed up on, I wouldn't say mess up, the only thing I really had an issue with is I misunderstood or how long the Baileys were. So they were, not only did they go over the top of the cab, but they or over the top of the drum, but they severely shortened how much wire rope I was able to get out. So I had to boom up instead of just cable in. You might see me grab a lot more rigging compared to most people, but I'm very OCD about all of it. I don't put chains in the round eyes of my shackles, and I use grab hooks for everything. I don't really like running a chain through something and hooking it back to itself. Or I don't ever figure eight straight chains.
I did not think that was going to stay there. Are they pretty in line? Huh? Are they in line? Are they over each other?
Was nice enough to have a little bit of help. Kind of sucks having to pull all that rigging over the top of the drone.
Okay.
I've never seen it done this way. You've done it like this before?
Oh yeah. You'd have done it this way, I'll take the whole 7/8 over.
Yeah, I'm real curious.
But typically, something this heavy, if I'm gonna winch on it, I definitely want to double line, run a 2-part line for the drag. But in this instance, I really wanted to get some lift. That way to help keep the truck from digging into the ground as I was strong arming it. And once you get lift on the drone, it's gonna want to dig that driver's side tandem into the ground, and you're gonna end up fighting it more. So the more lift you can get on the driver's side as well as pulling it over, the less it's gonna want to dig in, and she'll slide your way. Also want to get a pretty good amount of boom height. You're wanting to pull the truck out of the ditch, not pull it into the ground. So you'll see me get a pretty good amount of height on the boom right here. And then you're just going to be fighting yourself, trying to get the tandems to slide towards you. That's kind of what I was saying with the Baileys as well. How long they are. But it's either that or my shorter Baileys, and I'd rather have too much length and not enough and run your cable into the drone. Yeah, you don't want your shackles to be sideways. But as many people know, they're only rated for half of the workload movement from the side. Not that she's going to see that much, but I would much rather full acid every time instead of half acid. You probably see me right there. Can't see it on the camera, but I was also fixing another one of my shackles that was sideways. A little bit of sliding is one thing. You don't want to put yourself in a position to where she slides so much that you can't get the truck or the casualty in a safe spot anymore. Then you'll really be in a bind. Even with the winch brake on, and not that the stiff legs were going to do much on flat asphalt, but I couldn't have it slide backwards anymore. This is also in a new development, a residential development, so I wasn't about to throw my spades into the fresh asphalt. So these were to flip it into the dirt side, push it down, try to get any kind of resistance you can. I also didn't expect it to put this much of a fight. So just because you can't dig your spades in doesn't mean there aren't other ways to get traction, friction, keep your truck from sliding. This is a old trick that you see a lot of guys running homes will do, because you know homes have stiff legs on them. So if you pry the boards in between the duals, the tandems, you'll Naturally, as the truck comes back, it's going to put pressure on that rear axle and wedge that board into the ground without destroying the actual asphalt. A little bit more friction. And this is with the winch brake on as well. That is one pretty good benefit of having a tandem steer. You set your winch brake, you have a lot more axles on the ground holding you in place versus going with the steer with a tag. After digging that spade in, throwing the blocks in between the duals, she sat still the whole time. This method is also something you can absolutely do with a integrated boom as well. Doesn't have to be a rotator with a drag winch.
You work with that, right? You work with that, right? Yeah, she'll be able to. I'll bag it up.
The driver was saying that it wouldn't move after we got it stabilized. I asked him if he had those lockers turned on and everything else. Said yes, yeah, everything's on. It's not running. It won't come back. So kind of politely asked him to step out. Let me give her a crack, and just needed to give a little bit more throttle.
Very hot. Other than that, I mean, it was pretty easy. There's multiple ways that we could have done that, but that was, I feel like that would have been the best. I'm sure she can pick it up and just swing it over and sit it on the ground. Two things, though, is it puts a lot of stress on the wrecker. And with it being, with how long he's been out here already, that's not the time to really fuck around and see if she could or couldn't. I'd rather just get it out of the hole and send him on his way any means possible. But it was fun. Alright guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Brandon out.